Welcome back to the Marching to Madness College Basketball Podcast, where we have my good friend Jeff Jones, the head coach of the ODU Monarchs, here once again on our show. Coach Jones transitioned the Monarchs into the Sun Belt Conference this year. They finished 19-12 overall, 11-7 inside the league. They won 8 of their last 10 regular season games. Coach, as always, welcome back.
Thank you. I'm excited to be with you. Just been staying busy with this transfer portal. It's the coaching profession at the collegiate level has changed quite a bit over the last few years with the advent of this transfer portal and the NIL.
About the transfer portal, will you ever find assistant coach? Mantra is going to be assistant coach / transfers.
I think that's all of them. Quite honestly,
yeah.
Everybody, you want to try to find freshmen that can contribute immediately, but you also have to keep an eye towards the transfer portal. The idea now is you want to get old and you stay old, and in order to do that, I think the freshmen aren't the high school kids, I should say, aren't being recruited to the extent that they have been in the past, and I think that's that's kind of collateral damage. That was an unintended consequence. I've talked to some friends of mine that are junior college coaches, and they've benefited. They've gotten more kids that that traditionally would have gone straight from high school to Division I, but with the limited scholarships that are out there being offered to high school kids now, some of them are taking a non-traditional route, and they're going straight from high school to junior college, play for a year, get some film, get a little bit older, and then look to transition from junior college to Division I. So as I said, it's affected a lot of people. I know there's lots of folks, and you can probably count me in that group that don't love it, but I think it's here to stay. I don't see it changing. And so you either have to evolve or you probably should get out of the business.
Sure. You guys finished 8-2, like we said, in Sun Belt play in regular season. What abilities did you see or came about in your team to finish strong like that?
The number one is perseverance. I've been in this. I think I'm going on my 32nd year as a head coach, and I've never faced a season with this many injuries and ailments, whether it be COVID. We had a young man, Emo Essien, that collapsed on the court and had to miss weeks while we did extensive testing. We had a torn ACL, a broken hand, the flu, a torn meniscus. I mean, all kinds of different things. And yet our guys never missed a beat. We were, as you mentioned, we won 8 of our last 10. And a couple of those, we were shorthanded. One game, I think we lost three starters, and we're able to win a conference game on the road. That's a pretty good accomplishment. I was very proud of our young men, and they hung in there, but we started figuring out who we were and started playing better basketball, and it was a lot of fun. This group was fun. The season was fun, and I was very, very proud of the young men on our team. The one question mark is we laid an egg in our conference tournament game, and I don't know if we wanted it too much and ended up being tight. But we just weren't very good in that game against Texas State. But once we kind of got that out of our system, I think everybody looked back and feels good about what we were able to accomplish.
Coach, from an emotional standpoint, how did you see this squad change? Okay, you started 8-4 to begin the season. Then you moved to that 8-2 we're talking about, at the end. So I guess what was different in the end of the season as opposed to the beginning, as you won in both?
Oh, the beginning, we played some outstanding teams, but we also played some teams that, where we won handily. And I think as we got into conference play, and one thing we found in the Sun Belt, every single game was an absolute battle. It is an extremely physical league. This was, according to those who've been involved with the league for a while, this was the best year that the league has had basketball-wise in some time. And I think we got in, and we had 7 new guys on our team. And when we were fine, as you said, I think we were 8-4 in non-conference play. But when we got into conference play and everything that, up the ante, so to speak, we struggled a little bit with the intensity of the games, and we had to find ourselves a little bit. I think it was a group that really, really, they liked one another. They did stuff on and off the court, had great chemistry, but we had to find our style out there on the court. And maybe that took a little longer, but with the injuries, we adapted. We ended up having to play a little bit smaller, which allowed us to spread the floor. We had, some more better ball handling, better movement. And ultimately, I think we were better defensively. And I think all of those things were important in finishing the season strong.
We mentioned the transfer portal. Now, 4 of those kids off the team came into the transfer portal, including a really good 2-guard in D'Angelo Steins. Do you think college sports is now in a place where you almost have to recruit every day? I mean, who's on your team?
Absolutely. I think that the days of building a program are probably over. I think it's more about building a team from year to year. Everybody wants to have stability and continuity. But even when you look at, the best teams, I mean, there's guys leaving Gonzaga, UConn, I think, had a guy going pro. I don't know if they'll have any guys going in the transfer portal, but, there's constant transition. And I think you've got to be, ready and then anticipate as best you can to pivot and get out there and recruit. This springtime, in the past was when things would slow down a little bit, and you go out these last 2 weekends in April, and you'd watch kids for next year. Well, that's a luxury. If you can do that, you're ahead of the game. I know where we are. We're going to be having visits. We're having a bunch of transfers, prospects coming in on official visits in these next couple of weeks. So, we won't be able to get out and see the kids that are in the class of 24 until the summer period, most likely.
Coach, for a productive team, what must you and your staff include, especially in a conference now like the Sun Belt, where, like we said, every evening produces a key matchup with different ways to create on both offense and defense?
I think you'd better be good, and this is not just for the Sun Belt. I think it's for college basketball as a whole. You better have good guards. I think guard play is it's always been important, but I think more and more as the game has evolved, I think you've got to have guards that can create. Obviously, you need to shoot the ball. Ideally, you want to shoot it beyond the 3-point arc, but that's an area where we've got to improve on. We didn't shoot a lot of them. We shot it okay for some, part of the season, but we need to shoot more, and we need to shoot them better. But we're looking for guards, to really lead the team. You want good big guys, and again, if you're like Louisiana in the Sun Belt, who won the conference tournament, they had the big center Brown, 6'11", was a terrific scorer. That's icing on the cake. He's a luxury item, but in order to win, I think, consistently and have a great season at the collegiate level, you got to have experienced guards. You got to have the talent. You got to have the toughness. You got to have that experience to win in difficult situations.
Yeah, and you had a couple of really productive inside players there in Mekhi Long and Derek Williams. Now, will they add solid punch for you on and on? And then how do you get their games to improve?
Well, okay, so with Mekhi Long, Mekhi is one of my favorite all-time players that we've had here, and down the stretch, I think he hit 14 or 15 double doubles. The transfer portal, and in particular the NIL came calling, and so Mekhi is actually moving on to Virginia Tech, this year. So we're going to have to replace his production. Dorico was an undersized post guy, does a great job defensively, really good in defending ball screens, and as a defensive and offensive rebounder. I think with him just having been in the program for a year, in his comfort level and experience is going to help him have an outstanding year next season. We certainly like to see Dorico's offensive production to go up. We weren't able to generate much inside offense this year, other than after offensive rebounds or driving the basketball. But for us to be a balanced team, we've got to be able to throw it in there and get some tough buckets from Dorico and our interior players.
Chaunce Jekins, as we said, was the leading scorer. He generally plays the point, but he had several minutes at a two guard. So what might have been the situations where he would move from the point over to the shooter?
Well, Chauncey kind of played the point. We had one player that wasn't able to play this season that we had been counting on in preseason. The NCAA declared him ineligible. So we, out of necessity, we had to slide, Chauncey to the point guard spot, and he did an admirable job. I mean, he had never really played that position, but I think he learned a lot. And whether he plays this season as a point guard or the off guard, I think that experience will definitely help him out. He's clearly our best player coming back. He's going to be a leader. He's a great. He's great to coach. He plays hard. He's got amazing athleticism, and he just wants to get better. And seemingly has very, very little ego. He definitely doesn't shy from big moments. We do have a young man that we announced today, Vashawn Alette, that's just signed his NLI, a point guard from a scoring point guard, very dynamic scorer from Canada. That I think we got to steal. I mean, he's a really, really good player, and we had to beat some high majors to get him, and he will certainly help. In the backcourt, and then we're in the transfer portal. We're looking to bring in another perimeter player that can play alongside those two, and give us another playmaker, another guy that can put the ball in the basket and facilitate for others. So, I think we've got the makings of a very, very strong backcourt.
The transfer portal, for you guys to see people coming in and out of there, is that something that's computer generated?
Yeah, so you've got the NCAA site with the transfer portal, and then you can log in, and so basically for the last few weeks and probably for the foreseeable future, our staff spends time in front of the computer looking and seeing the names that each day are jumping in the portal. And then we watch on Synergy, which basically is a service that can give you every play of every player of every college team. So you can break it down, and you can look at defensive sequences. You could look at scoring clips, whatever it may be. So a lot of film on these guys that you see that their names are in the portal. A lot of film, and then a follow up. If they fit what you're looking for, and then the next step is, do they have an interest? Do they already kind of have an idea where they're going? Is it a kid that has his mindset on going high major? Is it a kid that you make an initial call and they let Coach, I've got to have 100,000 in NIL money in a car, and our response is, well, best of luck. I look forward to watching you, wherever you land. Yeah, so that list is generated on the NCAA transfer portal website, and that's we've got guys right now as we speak that are in there watching and just trying to keep up with it as best we can.
Going back to the Sun Belt for a second, to finish 19-12 overall, 11-7, and like you say, that much of a physical and athletic conference, it's a good feat coming in. How would you categorize the conference, and then how your players were able to implement the 11 of 18 wins?
I just think the Sun Belt is a very competitive mid-major conference. It's a good league. We are a one-bid league. Everybody's always striving to get multiple bids, which for mid-majors is harder than ever before. But you all constantly want to do things, whether it's through recruiting or scheduling, whatever it may be, to put yourself in a position. If you can get on the bubble, that's great, and hopefully you can cross that threshold. But ultimately, I think for the Sun Belt and many conferences like us, it boils down to the conference tournament and trying to play your best basketball at that point every season.
Last thing, Coach, it's April, so that must mean the NBA playoffs. First thing, do you have time to watch or follow those? And then are there things you can pick up or your assistants can pick up at ODU that you might see a team using and it would fit maybe a couple of your players?
I probably, finding the time would be a challenge, but I could probably do it. I don't have the inclination to watch.
Yeah,
I understand they're the best players in the world, the best athletes in the world, but the NBA style is not something that really appeals to me. As the playoffs go on and it gets to the finals, I'll be more likely to watch the NBA. As far as picking things up, whether it's stylistically or certain plays or actions or defensive rotations, there are websites now that do a great job of isolating and pointing these kind of things out. What the trends are in Europe, what the trends are in the NBA, as well as the trends in college basketball. And I think we're not the only people, but we're constantly looking. If we can do something different or do something better, we want to use those resources to try to do so.
Coach Jeff Jones, ladies and gentlemen, back on Marching to Madness. Coach, we may start one of those rolls across there and put your name on there and ODU and all that. Thanks a lot. I always enjoy it.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. It's always good being with you. And, maybe next year when we do this kind of follow up again, we'll keep our fingers crossed and maybe we'll be, coming off an NCAA appearance. I certainly hope so.
That'd be great. Thanks a lot, and have a good recruiting year, I guess, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, recruiting, you got to have the players.
Got to have the players. Yeah, the X's and O's equate out past the Jimmys and Joes.
Yep.
Thank you, man.
Absolutely. Take care.